She saw in John what she used to see in me, and they quickly became very close friends. He consoled her through our breakup and every little time I messed up afterwards. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, "My Ex Cheated on Me and Accused Me of Grape, so I exposed her to everyone she knew." And guys, this story is about a guy who's with his girlfriend for like 2 years, and like so many, really thought he had something good going. He goes off to boot camp or a special type of military training, and definitely that impacted him in a negative way. Comes back, and things weren't the same with his girl. Now, in fairness, he changed a lot of things about him that obviously attracted her to him in the first place, but she doesn't handle herself very well as a response to that nevertheless. And you're going to see she ultimately ends up cheating on him, really messing with his head, all this other BS, and to make things worse, accuses him of all sorts of things to get him out of her life, and really humiliates him, makes him look bad in front of all these people that they knew, her family, mutual friends, etc., etc. But you're going to see here, guys, that this guy doesn't take this lying down, and he definitely comes up with a really good way where she literally digs her own grave to get some good payback on her and make her look like a damn fool, and get her back at her for everything she did to him. So if you guys that like revenge stories for guys that definitely been screwed over, in particularly falsely accused of all these different things, you'll enjoy this one very much, because it's sad how that can just so easily happen nowadays. At any time, a guy can be accused of this or that, and the default reaction is, well, he's guilty. And even then, if he is proven not guilty, still people will think, well, he's still guilty. He just got a good lawyer, or some bullshit like that. Anyhow, guys, starts off, he says, in late May of 2016, I asked my crush, Kate, of 3 years, out on a coffee date. 3 dates later, we made things official. Smack! You became officially exclusive boyfriend-girlfriend after 3 dates? You want to talk about appearing desperate to get a girl? You never do that. Months and months before you eventually cave to her wanting to, you want her to be chasing you. No girl's going to think she got a prize with a guy that will cave and be in a relationship after 3 dates. You got to be shitting me. This is a demonstration of weak guys, desperate guys. Anyhow, I had to get that out of my system. For the next 7 months, our relationship felt too good to be true. Usually is. We clicked on so many interests, so we hardly ever disagreed on anything. We were both very open with each other, which led to an incredible SCX life, and we both had good jobs, so we had money to spoil one another, and our families were both enthusiastic about our relationship. Hey, so far so good. What could possibly go wrong? Well, when things are rushed too fast and seem too good to be true, often they are. In January 2017, I was accepted into my country's Armed Forces Reserve program as a combat engineer. I underwent basic training from February to late April, and was up until then, that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. I bet, man. There were several times I thought I wouldn't graduate, and the only thing that kept me going was Kate's words of encouragement over texts and phone calls. She was there when I received my BTC certificate and never let me forget how proud she was of me. Again, so far so good. As part of my job in the reserves, I would have to go away in the summer for advanced training, between early June until late August. Kate fully supported me going 400 kilometers away to the training center and spending most of our entire summer break on work to further my military career. The summer was brutal on me. I was a social outcast from every clique that formed on our course and was the butt of several jokes. My self-esteem plummeted through the floor, but Kate's belief in me was that it made me prevail. I passed as 5th best on the course, and I owed it all to her. You don't owe it all to her. You're the one on the course busting your butt. Now, she helped you get through it, but no, you were there. You did the work. Now, I want to mention something here about he was obviously being not fitting in the butt of jokes. You know, guys are guys. They're going to have guys in the groups they're going to give shit to and stuff like that. And it's one thing if it's joking around. It's another thing if it's more than that. But you can't be the type of guy that allows that to happen. And this is a perfect example, and you're going to see in a moment how being made fun of and bullying, if you will, definitely has an impact on guys. This is why all guys need to learn to fight back, stand up for themselves, etc., or the kind of impact it could have on their whole well-being. He says, the decline. Things between us started to sour after me returning home. According to her, I wasn't as spontaneous and outgoing as before as I went away. I was dismissive, took small jabs and jokes as personal insults, and would rather stay in, watch movies, and have you-know-what instead of going out. Unbeknownst to both of us, I developed some nasty social anxiety due to the events of the summer, and it started affecting our relationship. Nearing our 2-year anniversary in 2018, we got into heated arguments over a small misunderstanding and subsequently broke up. So, everything was great when you were the outgoing, fun, spontaneous guy and all that, but this guy came back and he changed. Now, understanding he obviously had some issues. Sounds like essentially he was being picked on, made fun of, and bullied. That really messed with his head, and certainly should have fought back in one way or another, but he didn't. And obviously he's going through a tough time, and well, she's not there for him, right? Doesn't sound like her trying to unravel what's wrong, trying to help. But on the other hand, he stopped being the same guy that she fell for back in the day. He became a totally different person. So you can't entirely blame her for losing attraction. But how she handles that's the part that's not cool, as you're going to see. A man can't let himself be worn down. He has to get back on his feet and not let the external shit wear him down. It's understandable, but he can't let that happen. Otherwise, things happen. I was incredibly distraught before she texted me 3 days later and said she wanted to try and fix things. 3 days later, translation, in 3 days, she went out and hooked up with some other dude and then got that out of her system, and now she's back. I didn't see her for 3 weeks, but we kept in touch every day, slowly mending things. When we officially got back together, nothing felt the same. Every time I talked with her, it was like walking on eggshells, and it only worsened my anxiety, which in turn hurt our already damaged relationship. Then things came to a head at the end of July. No guy should be walking on eggshells around his girl. You know who does that? Weak guys. Never. Girlfriend, fiance, wife. You think she's going to respect you if you're walking on eggshells and doing everything you can not to piss her off and kiss her butt? No respectable guy does that crap. Weak guys do that. And how do women repay weak guys? With bad treatment. While in school, Kate had met a dude named John. She saw in John what she used to see in me, and they quickly became very close friends. Bad idea. He consoled her through our breakup and every little time I messed up afterwards. For the record, I knew of John, but never thought Kate would do anything with him. Your girl shouldn't be hanging out in buddies with some other dude. It's one thing if they're acquainted at school or work, but hanging out with them and all that, and being there for her and consoling her, Any guy that allows that is a moron. But like he said, he was walking on eggshells with her, didn't want to piss her off, so he allowed this. And I have a feeling when they had that little breakup for 3 days, Johnny Boy was there to make her feel better. One night after work, we planned for me to stay the night at Kate's place. I arrived to see the two of them chilling on the living room couch. That was on purpose. She was showing you your competition. She was showing you who's replacing you. And again, you're in a relationship, she shouldn't be hanging out with some other dude, let alone some dude coming to her house. I would have walked right out and said, we're done. Connect the dots, Kate said that John had dropped by for a spontaneous visit and was just leaving. You mean a spontaneous hookup? After John left, she became cold and distant. I slowly accepted that our relationship was dead and asked her how things were between us. What do you mean you asked her how things were between you? It's pretty obvious. You lead, dude. Don't ask her. She echoed my thoughts, and we agreed to break up the next day. She said I could stay the night one last time, seeing as it was late, and she was worried, and she was still worryful of me. From there on in, until she fell asleep, Kate became uncharacteristically glued and protective of her phone. In the past, she wouldn't care if I glanced over to catch her and her friends texting about whatever, but now she did her best to hide the screen from me. I asked her about it, and she said it was private stuff, which only raised more questions. After she fell asleep, curiosity got the better of me. I unlocked her phone, I knew her password, and found hundreds of messages between her and John. Messages about how she was now single, how exciting it was they could now be a couple in public, and laughing at me about every little thing I did. I quietly sobbed as I read through each hurtful text. That is terrible. Not that any of us are surprised here. Obviously, she's been doing John for a while. But at the end of the day, like I say, you break up with someone. You don't cheat on him. Don't do that. And the fact that she's making fun of him. I mean, yeah, this guy's acted weak on so many levels. But still, he was a good guy to her and a good boyfriend to her. And she it didn't sound like anything she was doing to try to help when he came back. And he was obviously a different person. So as long as he was putting up the fun front, then she's in. But the second he starts actually having any real issues, then and that's that. He needed to work on himself, but she wasn't exactly there for him. This is why I tell you guys, for your relationship, dudes, you need to spend years with your girl. Years, and having real life situations hit you to see how they handle it. Because right then and there, you'll see the true colors. And things weren't as fun anymore, so she found a replacement. And worse yet, had to cheat on him for a while, make fun of him. But don't worry, guys. He will have a last laugh. It says here, my crying wasn't as quiet as I thought. Kate stirred, and once she realized what I was doing, she threw a fit. I couldn't find the anger or words to combat her, so I just grabbed my stuff and left, with Kate shouting, yelling at me the whole time. She's shouting and yelling at him. She was the one cheating on him. Full-on affair, making fun of, but of course, he's the bad guy. He knew something was wrong, went through her phone, but you see how he said he couldn't find the words to combat her. This guy, this guy's really worn down. This guy has issues he's got to work on. This guy needs some freaking therapy, in my opinion, because he's got some shit to work out, and also working on himself, becoming a stronger man. I do respect he was in the military, but still he needs some work. But he's totally walking on eggshells, and of course she sees the weakness. She sees blood in the water, so of course she's going to attack, yelling and everything, making him out to be the bad guy. It was late in the morning when I got home. I just broke down and ugly cried all night. I called in sick from work the next day and spent it sulking in my bed. Okay, dude, it's time to man up. It's time to get your balls back, okay? Get your hurts and got some... But seriously. The day after, I got several angry texts from Kate's friends and family. I wonder why. In a bid to save her image and denounce anything I might say about her, she told anyone she knew that I had forced myself upon her that night, and in one last attempt to get some before we broke up, and left after the deed was done. Though what I had done was scarring, she refused to press charges because she didn't want to make a circus of her life in court, and was the bigger person by doing so. I spent the next few months in fear that her allegation would have me discharged from the army and my image forever tarnished, but nothing ever happened. So to make her look better, because obviously he found proof that she was cheating on him, she quickly tried to deflect and have the negativity on him by making up this lie that he forced himself and all that on her, and told everybody. He could have, imagine that, he could have been kicked out of the army, and the army, dishonorably discharged and all that, and amongst many other things, just so she doesn't look bad for being a cheater. And remember, this is the girl who said in the beginning that pretty much how amazing everything was and all that. Now he sees her true colors. What an a-hole. But he's going to get her back. And the final part, called revenge. 5 months afterwards, Kate DM'd me. After pleasantries, she basically apologized for the whole thing and actually admitted to faking it. I thought she would never publicly admit it to save her own reputation. My image be damned. This angered me, but I kept cool, and I screenshotted the text and continued talking to her. How stupid is that? She's openly admitting by text that he could take pictures of, that she made the whole thing up, all that. Not very smart, this one. Over the next 3 months, she entered into cycle events as follows. She would complain about her current life situation, usually about John, screwing up their relationship in one way or another, and asking for advice. Remember I tell you they always come back? This guy clearly wants to gather evidence to get even with her, so I get that. But the fact that he's talking to her after all that, how she treated him, cheated on him, accused him of all these things, is it worth it to keep talking to her to get the revenge, or just say pretty much to F off and that's the end of it? We can go back and forth on that debate, but can't move on. He can't move on from her if he keeps talking to her. But she's going back to him to talk and talk about her problems and talk about the other dude. Big shocker. She was lamenting our relationship, how I never screwed up like John did, how she wished she could go back in time the way things were, blah, blah, blah. ignoring me because John finally pulled his head out of his ass with some huge romantic gesture and saved the relationship. Going on a smear campaign on social media about our relationship, employing her friends for help, knowing in full that I would see it all, and trying to bait me into an argument. And it would work. She would try to turn the argument around and paint me as the bad guy, then block me for about a month before repeating the cycle. So she goes to him when she needs help to talk about the other guy, then he makes it up, then she makes him out to be the bad guy, round and round we go. And this guy's putting up with it. Now again, this guy has demonstrated major weakness when it comes to women, but also it sounds like he's gathering evidence to screw her over. This happened 3 times like clockwork and always left me burnt out and broken because you allowed yourself to be broken. But a part of me wanted it to happen. Each time it did, I took screenshots of every damning thing she said. I had a full SD card of everything I compiled before I finally decided it was time. Making several pictured copies of the worst text messages that I caught, I bought several manila envelopes and mailed them to everyone I thought would matter to Kate. Her parents, grandparents, extended family that she was super close with, best friends, work boss, co-workers, teachers, whoever I could find a mailing address for. I made sure that anyone getting the envelope would know that the texts were between me and Kate and sent them off. There you go. Now he's getting his balls back. All teachers, relatives, parents, grandparents, employers, friends, they're all going to see the messages of her openly admitting that she made up all these allegations, all these false accusations against this guy. I love it. I would take that to a whole new level, see what I could get out of her in terms of a lawsuit. Within 3 weeks, I got results. Some of the people who messaged me to shame and insult me now apologize for their words. I'd say thank you very much. Now go F yourself because you believed her BS over me. My favorite was from her own parents, who went on to say that they were deeply sorry about their daughter's behavior, how they raised her to be better than how she acted, and to please not pursue any legal actions. I don't know, guys. That sounds pretty appealing to me. What do you think? I'm sure there are lawyers watching this that would say, with all this evidence, he has perfect grounds for legal action. I can't say I wouldn't do that. The thought had crossed my mind, but I didn't have the money nor the mental fortitude to fight a legal battle. I told them I'd think about it, and they'd be the first to know beside Kate if I did. Yeah, let them Now, at the end of the day, the parents didn't do anything to this guy. Well, no. Let me back here. They of course believed her and made him out to be the bad guy, so they did do something to this guy. So he's having a little fun letting them have a little mental anguish, wondering if he, in fact, will press charges, take legal action against their daughter. But notice they say, we didn't raise her to be this way. How many times have these stories I've done where the parents say, I didn't raise my daughter to be that way? Well, welcome to Sodom Gomorrah 2.0. Welcome to the world we're in right now where feminism has taken its ugly bite in things, where pretty much a gal can get revenge on a guy, he didn't do anything wrong, and accuse him of anything, and this is what we have. Kate then sent me some texts as well, with things like, how could you betray my trust like that? Or, you ruined my life, you bastard. I didn't reply. I just read every angry text that flew in with a satisfied grin and then blocked her when they stopped. By him not replying, you know that made it even worse, made her more insane, because she wanted to fight. She liked to bait arguments. Thank God this guy's getting his balls back in the end. And of course, she's blaming him. How could you do such a thing? She accused him of all these awful things, told everybody. Could have had him kicked out of the army, dishonorably discharged, amongst many other things. I mean, what if it got back to the police or authorities? What if her telling her parents that, and her parents went ahead and got the police involved? Imagine that to this guy, because just she didn't want it to get out that she was a cheater, right? And he's the bad guy for this. This doesn't surprise me, and it shouldn't surprise any of you guys. I never fully found out how badly her life was affected by my revenge, but I do know that she dropped out of school and no longer has a job. I hope John was worth it. Hey, not your problem. It says, thank you to all for so much your kind words of support. A lot of people have been worrying about my mental state, so I thought I'd relieve those worries. I've been seeing a therapist for 3 months now, and have made significant progress. I can't begin to explain how much I owe for helping me regain some semblance of a normalcy in my life. Well, good for this guy. Good for him. He got his balls back by exacting this revenge on her, and now he's in therapy, working some things out. That's good, okay? And I hope this guy really works hard and getting some self-worth and some seeing himself as the good man that he is and not taking any crap from anybody. He was, like he said, in boot camp or whatever, he's been given shit by the other soldiers and all that. And that definitely impacts guys on a whole new level, whole different level than I think a lot of people realize, being picked on, bullied, and all that. This is why men need to learn from an early age to stand up for themselves, learn how to fight, because at the end of the day, we were all little boys once, and we all knew darn well that I'm sure there isn't any guy watching that wasn't bullied at some point when they were a kid. I was. And the only way you deal with bullies is through strength, and you fight back. Even if you take a beating yourself, they'll at least respect you most of the time, you know? And word will get around, but you can't take it, you can't cower, otherwise it'll make it worse. And guys that don't stand up for themselves and don't fight back, either verbally or physically, that really weighs down their confidence. And look how he behaved with her after that whole thing went down. And it's interesting because this was when he was obviously older, not like a kid. But a guy needs to learn to fight back, be strong, and lay down the law with his lady, and not walk on eggshells and all that. But he did act like definitely a bitch for a while, but he got his man card back in the end, so good for him. So, good revenge story here, and it was warranted. She deserved that. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And by the way, big shout out to Joseph for sending me this thing. Joseph has been sending me a lot of good stuff lately, so I really appreciate that. And guys, if you come across a really good story that you'd like me to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Don't forget to include the link. Sometimes guys will tell me they got something for me, and it's like, where the hell's the link? Make sure you include that. And also, if you got a really good personal story that definitely is worthy of a good video, just email me your story too. Make it easy for me to read, and I'll cover it down the road. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.